No intro. Look like Aaron messed that up.
No. Let's do this. Welcome to Lake Street Banter, where one of us is here. The other one is along for the ride. The other one doesn't know how to put an intro into the tab. There we go, Mike Jr. We are here. We're ready to go. We are live. Lewis, Mike, what's up?
It's been a good, fun week. Rockies games. The first 6 innings of these games have been pretty awesome. So
pretty lights out. Yeah.
I'm glad that we're back,
Leading the MLB in starter ERA. And then
who would have guessed?
Also, how many comments fire your manager or can be put out there as well. So all that's ready to go.
Hey, we're not the Brewers, so
dude, we're not the Brewers. We're not the Cubs who blew a 8-run lead. It's messy out there. I have not been able to watch enough other baseball, which might say something about my sanity right now. But it's been tough going to get started. The Colorado Rockies.
We always laugh at like, oh, the Rockies bullpen this. I know today isn't exactly like helping that case, but the Diamondbacks just got a pitcher to get a hit against the Cubs bullpen. Like that has not happened to us. So we're somewhat lucky on that end. Like something like that doesn't happen to us.
Law of averages, though. Law of averages.
If you were to tell me a pitcher got a hit and it wasn't Shohei, I would 100% assume it was against us. But
right. Off a player pitcher, whatever. So the Rockies are 1-3 going into 4 games into it. We're not here to talk Rockies, though. We are here to talk about the minor leagues, the Isotopes, and down below. Isotopes started their season. But before we get into all that, let's do all the busy work. Please check out our website, BlakeStreetBanter.com. The boys have been putting in work in this 30-year moments in 30 years of Coors Field. I have not done anything, but like the writing's fantastic. All the memories are fantastic. It's all there. Got 30 moments in 30 years of Coors Field, all on the website.
What's your favorite moment?
I gave 163. Spoiler alert, it's up there. But it's also my favorite moment because I was actually there. I know 100,000 people say they were there, but me, James, my brother, and one of my best friends growing up were all at game 163. Got tickets. The website broke. We somehow hit refresh enough while I was at work. I shouldn't have been on the internet at work, but I was because like this is the moment. And we got lucky. We got lucky as could be and did it. We painted the face. We saw Padres fans leaving, Colorado Rockies fans leaving. It's like, no, you got to stay. They all said, no, it's over. No, we stayed. It was awesome. Fantastic. It's a top 3 moment of all time for me. What about you?
The Herman almost no-hitter is probably up there for me. I remember watching that live. That's probably like what cemented me being a Rockies fan. I was like, I've always liked the Rockies, and I saw that, and I was like, yeah, that's my team.
That's a good moment. There's so many up there. Like, there's a lot of things I was like, oh, that happened? So good memories, bringing it back. So check that out, BlakeStreetBanter.com. A lot of good work. Make sure you share it with your people. Remember, we are your mama's favorite podcast. She just does not know it yet. Share it, follow it, put on automatic downloads. We're on the Spotify. We're on the Apple Podcast. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button on the YouTube. We're almost 350. We might be at 350 at the end of this pod, which is kind of a big deal because I think we're at like 200 at Christmas time. So thank you to you all for subscribing to that, sharing it, all the good stuff that's happening. Remember, we have the shows tomorrow. It's Blake Street Banter with Patrick Lyons and Noah Spirk, the media credentialed people of the crew. Then you got Best of the West, Rockies fans covering the NL West. And then every once in a while, behind the scenes with Josh Rogers. Yes, that Josh Rogers, major leaguer, who is kind enough to spend 30, 45 minutes a week with us talking Rockies inside the mind of a major league ball player. I think we got all gambits covered. So like, if you just want Rockies coverage in any kind of way, we got you covered. And I'm pretty excited about our podcast lineup. So plugs done. Again, share it. Now I'm done. News and transactions. So fun thing about baseball is their injuries, right? That's so much fun. And we got these lists. We got the rosters for all of the teams given today. Fresno, Spokane, Hartford all dropped today. Albuquerque has obviously played 3 days. We'll get into that. But a lot of names aren't on these rosters. And you're like, what's going on? The biggest one that caught a lot of attention was Romo. He is starting on the IL, 7-day IL. I think it was a wrist thing sliding into second base. I'm not too sure what it was. Haven't heard officially what it was, but he is on the IL to start the season. And then Austin Gomber did have his rehab assignment start. He pitched the very first game of the Albuquerque Isotopes season on Friday. It went okay. I think Mike Sr., you can get the stats up. But I did see that he didn't go above 90 with the fastball, which is a little concerning. You're relying on a crafty lefty again, going from Cleveland to Gomber. Makes me a little concerned. But how was his stat line on his rehab assignment there?
It was a 4.5 ERA, 2 walks, 5 Ks, 4 innings pitch. It wasn't the worst, especially the PCL. Although we were in Sacramento, but wasn't the worst. And he's coming off. It's an injury thing, so I'm not really looking at the stats. But he looked solid. He didn't look like what I would expect Austin Gomber to look like in the PCL, because he was pretty good last year. But he plays again, I think, Wednesday. So that's his scheduled next start.
Okay, so we'll see how that goes. I wonder what they're going to do when it comes up, when he's ready to go. Like, does Blaylock come down? Blaylock pitched today, didn't go very well. So I wonder what they do with that. And everybody's going to be calling for Tyler Kinley on the chopping block, which
I think too.
No, I don't think that's fair at all. Tyler Kinley did not blow that yesterday.
But he has options, though, so that might make
Blaylock, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that out, especially when they'll probably need a fifth starter because they have an off day tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I don't know why we're doing that.
Fifth starter is going to be coming up next weekend against the Athletics. So something to watch there with Austin Gomber and his start. And then Sam Hilliard is back. Sam Dow, Tyler's roommate, neighbor, apartment complex sharer. Sam is back. It's pretty exciting. I feel bad for him because I know he wants a major league contract, but he's back in the system, going to hit dongs, going to add to his Albuquerque Isotope home run leaderboard. But what were some of the other IL stints? Who are some of the other big dogs that are starting the season on the injured list in the minors?
Yeah, I mean, this is always brutal, right? It all comes in at once.
Sucks.
Like, there's some guys that we are kind of expecting, but Herrera's been there for a long time. Jace Kaminska just got put on there. Fresno Grizzlies pitcher last year, standout. Luigi Garcia is there. Jeff Criswell, we all know that was like a month ago. Antoine Kelly's on the 7-day IR, or IL, it's not football. And then, of course, Luis Amorosa, one of Isaac's favorite prospects, is on 60-day IL, so that's brutal. See if I missed any. Austin Emener, that happened a couple weeks ago, 60-day IL. And Chris McMahon, 60-day IL. And then I know McKillican is on the full season IL, so he's out for the whole season. Which sucks because he just came back from a big injury, so.
Yeah, he was coming back, and it's just another setbacks coming back.
He came back like the end of last year.
I think he pitched a little bit, yeah. Which sucks because that man just wants to get out there and pitch. Big Maple wants to do his thing. And it also sucks seeing a lot of those names are friends of the pod, which really stings. But Charlie Condon, I don't know if you mentioned him. He is on the IL. I saw him in a wrist brace, so should be all right. Hopefully 2 more weeks or so to get back to normal. Don't know where he's going to start. Like we said earlier, he's not on a roster, but I would imagine Charlie Condon starts in High A Spokane for the season, just to get back in the groove thing, get healthy before he gets up to Hartford.
He's only 22, I think. I think a lot of people forget. Like, he is. Double check that.
Yeah, you think these college guys are a little bit older just because they're college guys, but.
And I mean, he's 21 currently. There you go.
Yeah.
So the wrist, I just really hope they take their time with that. Wrist is, I'm assuming that's one of those things that, you really want to make sure that's in line. Like almost like a knee for like a running back, right? Like you really want to make sure the wrist is in line. So hopefully they take their time. He's going to rake this season, I promise.
Yeah. If you're not buying stock in Charlie Condon, you need to, because dude, man, is going to go off. So quick rundown of ILs. We'll keep you updated when we know and find out more about all of those. But the talent that is on the IL is pretty nice, which is not something that the Rockies farm system has really had in recent years. Like, you can put these starting pitchers on this IL up into any AA starting rotation around. So that's good to see. I'm excited for all that. All right, let's get into it. You watched more Isotopes baseball this weekend probably than any normal sane person would have. Give me a quick rundown brief statement of how do they look? How did it go? Biggest takeaways.
Yeah, the bats are cold currently. They never really got started. And Dollander looked great. Control was a little questionable. That was kind of the headlining start of the weekend, was the Dollander pitching start. But he has that fastball that he can just always go to, that if he's like down an account or needs an out, you can always go to that fastball. It's plus fastball. Like sits like 98. It's insane. I think the bullpen looks good. We got a couple like Jack McLaughlin, the new isotope from, I don't know where he pitched recently, but he struggled. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's true. And I thought yesterday the bullpen was amazing. Jan was great. Your boy Dugan Darnell, I thought, had the best performance. He looked great. And then Zach Agnos, like 4 pitches as a closer. Come on, that's how are you stopping that?
That is it. Yeah, and he got the save, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he came in. I'm excited to see what they do with Agnos because I hold him in a high regard. Like he should be one of the first up. And Jaden Hill too is still there. So.
Yeah. And the thing is, Jaden Hill has the 40-man on top of Agnos, so we'll see how that plays out. Thomas Harding put a cool article out there, the homework assignments for some of these guys at AAA, and he mentioned Jaden Hill and Zach Agnos. The reason Zach Agnos is still down there is just because the front office wants him to have experience at altitude. So I think they have every intention to bring Zach Agnos up at one point, one or the other this year, which is exciting. Friend of the pod doing his thing. It's just a strike thrower. We don't have that. I don't know. It just feels like you don't know what you're going to get all the time, but you can guarantee 10 pitches are thrown. 7 of those are going to be strikes from Zach Agnos, and they're going to be a nice repertoire of different mixes. So that'll be interesting to see play out. But like you're going Zach Agnos, Jaden Hill, and Dugan Darnell as a 7, 8, 9 in Hartford or Albuquerque. That's not a bad arm barn to close out games at altitude. It's going to be interesting. The biggest thing I remember talking to Forbes this offseason was Dugan just needs to be consistent. If he wants it, he's got to go get it. And if he can be consistent like he was this weekend, he go 2 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, 2 hits, no walks. That's a good outing. So seeing what that looks like in Albuquerque will be big to see a Dugan Darnell debut. But the arm barn's fun. The arm barn is nasty. It'll be good to see. And Ryan Rollison, I don't know if you mentioned him, but 2 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts. I think we have a lefty reliever in the works, and highly touted Ryan Rollison is back. I know Tyler's smiling hearing that. It'll be good. I'm excited for the pitching. Like we haven't had the pitching like this in Hartford for a long time too.
Yeah, Ryan Rollison's kind of like a name we kind of all forgot about. Not like you kind of just not forgot, but like, this guy could really like make the roster here soon, and could stick too.
Yeah. So, we might see a lot of arm barn debuts again this year. Hopefully they don't do the revolving door. Hey, you're up, you're cut, you're up, you're cut type thing with some of these guys. But this crew seems a lot younger, a lot more lively than the crew we had last year. A lot of those were like journeyman, AAA, 4A type pitchers doing their thing, except for Josh Rogers, friend of the pod.
Yeah, I was thinking last year in Albuquerque, we had a lot of players that like, I don't want to say definitely didn't have a future, especially like in the starting rotation. I know we got the guy from Akron, I forgot Juan Hillman, and is that his name?
Yeah, Hillman.
Okay,
yeah.
I was just making sure I'm not going crazy. And even some guys in the bullpen. I feel like now everyone that pitches in Albuquerque, I can see them like having a future.
It's a legit shot.
There's no veteran just like there to pitch just because we need someone to pitch, which I love that.
Yeah, maybe you can make an argument with Carl Kaufman.
Or Payne Battenfield was one.
In that sense, but yeah, I would 100% agree. Andrew Quezada, I'm interested in see what his ability is. Yeah. He's been a dog. He gets you 6 innings every time he goes out, but he pitched in relief this week, 2.1 innings pitched.
He pitched after Gomber, so I question if maybe he's a starter or long relief action. So
yeah, he's going to eat innings. Quezada is there to eat innings, and he's pretty efficient with it. He's a grinder too. He's fun to watch if you haven't seen a Quezada pitch outing. And then the hitting, the offense. You said it was a little lackluster. How many guys they have? 3.
There's one guy that really showed up.
One guy. Don't guess yet. But before we get into the guys, we had 33 strikeouts. 33 strikeouts at AAA and 27 innings of work. You're seeing the strikeouts at the major league level. You're seeing it at the AAA level. Are we chalking this up to concern, or is this just, hey, it's the first weekend of baseball, relax?
I feel like first weekend you kind of want to get ahead of the curve. You want to start off strong, and I feel like a lot of guys swing at everything. Also, a lot of tough assignments for these guys. Kyle Harrison was the first one, and then you have Carson Wisenhunt on day 3, who put a phenomenal performance. Most of these strikeouts are from Wisenhunt.
What? Yeah, so, he had 13. You said 11.
He had 10 or
double digits, which is insane.
A lot. He looks great. This is not a Carson Wisenhunt podcast.
We're not a San Francisco pod. Nope.
But Veen looked amazing. Like I'll say, like Veen, this is the highest I've been on Veen in a long time. I was really skeptical of Veen last year. The injuries and the defense too I was really questioning. I know we have like this prospect. Zach Veen was like, he's the guy that's going to save the outfield in Colorado, and I'm kind of back to that now because he looks confident as ever. He was the only one hitting the ball consistently these past 3 games, and I mean, is there not a prospect more fun than Zach Veen? Like just smiling 24/7, like just radiates just so much. I don't know. Like it's fun to watch him. He makes me happy when he plays baseball.
Yes, I get like Max Clark, Detroit Tigers area up here in Michigan. Max Clark vibes. Like there's a different aura to Max Clark, right? Zach Veen's like the aura right under it, whatever you call that, the Bora maybe, because it's alpha beta, I don't know. But Zach Veen's like right under Max Clark right there. And there again, I don't know why you were sleeping on Zach Veen last year. You all need to start listening to me. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to prospects. Zach Veen is a dog, and he is going to show up when he gets that chance. Again, in the homework assignments article by Harding, it was just Zach Veen just needs to get everyday at-bats, everyday reps. He will be up sooner rather than later. So get ready to see Zach Veen up in purple pinstripes. There's some openings. We got some openings in the outfield right now for Zach Veen to fill in with. So it'll be exciting to see what happens with that. I mean, 11 at-bats, 4 hits, 1 double, only 2 strikeouts, which is huge. Weird thing is no stolen bases. I don't know if they're giving him the green light as much down there because that was part of the he needs to mature on the base paths argument of why he didn't get called up. Curious to see what his stolen base numbers look like. Are they going to slow him down? All that. But he has a 962 OPS after 3 games, which is incredible. Biggest disappointment this weekend, I'll go first so you can think about it because I just threw that up on you, is Keston Hiura. I was so excited to see Keston Hiura hit a bomb. I was waiting for you to clip it. I was waiting for it to go on the socials just because dude, man, absolutely rakes in the PCL. And I did not get a Keston Hiura bomb, which is super disappointing. Instead, I got 6 strikeouts and 10 at-bats. Not expecting anything from Keston Hiura. If he becomes a dude, 350 batting average with 20 dongs by July, fantastic. Call him up. Let's bang it out with Hiura. But beyond that, I just want to see him hit bombs in Albuquerque. But a little disappointed I didn't get to see a Keston bomb.
Yeah, it looked rough too. Like every single time it was that bad, I'd look over and it was 0-2 count, and he wasn't really working counts. I'm not like one of the guys I'm not worried about is Keston Hiura. Like he's gonna catch fire, and like there's gonna be a run in the summer where he has like 6 home runs in 8 games, and it's just all gonna balance out. I'm not worried about Keston Hiura. But
not worried about Keston Hiura.
It does suck because I wish I got to see a home run this week.
Right? Yeah, we saw 2 though.
Yeah, that's true. But Keston bomb is a little different.
It is. So. It is built a little bit different. Who's your dud of the weekend?
I'm gonna go get Yankees, and but there's gonna be a silver lining here. Didn't look great. Look, I mean, 4 strikeouts, 8 at bats. So that's not.
Didn't look great. Is a very nice way to put that.
Like on the hitting side, he didn't look great at all. But I will say his outfield, he's an absolute hose out there. Like he can sling that thing to home plate. I think he threw someone out. He made a good diving catch right after that. So nice. Defensively, in the corner, I kind of like him. He's not going to be almost like Nolan Jones a little bit. Maybe not as strong as an arm, of course, but kind of like that. Or maybe not as rangy either, but not complete liability like we kind of once thought.
Yeah, I can see a Hunter Goodman outfield comp with Yanquiel Fernandez, but Yanquiel Fernandez has a little bit more athleticism running around out there.
But you have Doyle. That's why Doyle's so valuable. You have
right.
Doyle in the center. You can kind of
You can
go
shade
with
him
that.
too that way, and especially if you have
Yeah.
Beck and left, who's doing all right out
Rangy.
there too. He's rangy out there too. So Yankees, I think we see Yankees soon as well. Beyond Zach Veen of this Albuquerque Isotopes, based on three games, complete irrational pick. Who gets the call up first from a position player standpoint? Not Zach Veen. Yeah, I'm making it hard for you.
Yeah, no, that's tough. I'm gonna go Amador. Like, we've already seen him up there. I love the hit tool still. I know, like, it's not, we thought he'd be like Stephen Kwan hit tool, but it's not that.
In time.
It's the thing is with second base, we have like the Freeman, Farmer, and then we have Estrada coming back. But I think he's the best of the group, and I think hopefully the talent, rises to the top. Hopefully that's what happens. Although we see recently, just not really what's going on.
Yeah.
I think Amador his defense is going to be fine. If you put him in cores, I still believe you give him 500 at bats in cores, he's going to be a plus average hitter, good on defense, solid on the base paths. That he's going to generate WAR like it's nothing, basically. So I hope it's him.
I am going to echo what you said. It looks like Patrick Lyons, thank you for joining the chat, big dog, is agreeing with AA to make the debut first before not name Zach Veen, and for all the reasons that you said. And anything else that we need to talk about the Isotopes 3-game series against the Sacramento River Cats? They played in Major League Ballpark. I guess that's kind of cool. Are they better than the Major League team that we have already? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't say so because, Doyle and Toga are just too good. But
if you had a 7-game series against the Isotopes and the Rockies, Isotopes might push it 5 or 6.
Like Dollander's getting that W.
Right. And Dollander's going 1-4, 1-5. Austin Gomber's there. So you have good number 2, right? You can throw in
rotation down there.
Yeah. And you got Palmquist.
Palmquist, yeah.
You have a solid 1, 2, 3. I don't know if that matches
no.
But we saw this week with Mark and Feltner and Freeland. Cincy was wild. That was a crazy start.
You put the game in Albuquerque, stuff will happen. So
yeah, like a home Albuquerque home Coors 7-game series. That would be fun. Somebody simulate that on MLB The Show for us. That would be a fun matchup.
Here's one guy I'm worried for, though. I guess I don't want to add another to a negative pile here, but it's gonna be Sterling Thompson, who last year
rough outing.
Terrible. Last year was terrible for his stock. Love the guy. I still have a lot of confidence in him, but like defensively. I wrote in like the spreadsheet we have. I was like, he plays multiple positions on the defense, but it's not because he's like defensively versatile, but it's because we're struggling to find a spot for him.
Yep.
Type thing. Like it was like third base was kind of like where we thought he'd stick, and then it was like corner. Now we're still kind of questioning the corner. I think he like first base now, but if he's first base, he's got to really hit, but he's not really hitting that well. He's kind of this tweener player, and then coming out of Florida, it was like. It was like contact. The hit tool was supposed to be really good and
fantastic basketball.
Striking out like a lot, even going back to last year. So I don't really know if there's an adjustment there that he made and this series was pretty brutal. He did have a double though this series, so I'll give him that. One of the few with an extra base hit. But I'm really worried for the everyday play of Sterling Thompson, where he fits.
Yeah, and I agree. Hopefully Keith Law's not listening because he was down on Sterling Thompson. Actually, he was up on Sterling Thompson last year. So I'm hoping it's there. I think that bat to ball skill just doesn't go away. I think there's some pressure learning all these new skills. We saw it with Hunter Goodman a little bit when he was learning outfield and first base. He wasn't catching at all. He's learning all these new positions. And like when you're learning all that, you can't go be great at the thing that made you great because you're so focused putting all this other time into all the things that you're trying to learn. And we're seeing Hunter Goodman absolutely rake now that he's just catching. And that's awesome. Like first home run today, easily the best hitter right now in the lineup. Put Brinson Doyle up there, maybe right next to him, but he's able to focus. I'm catching. I'm going to hit. I don't have to learn to first base. I don't need to know if I need my outfield glove today. There might be a little bit of mental stuff with that with Sterling Thompson. So I'm curious, once he finds a defensive home, what does his numbers look like? I think that's something we need to watch as we go forward. Let's head up northeast to Hartford. So the rosters were announced. We put a little tweet out there. But I guess the question is some of the big names on here. I guess that's not really a question. Some of the big names that are on here, if you are in Hartford, you're going to be able to see Benny Montgomery, the 8th overall, and Gabe Hughes do their thing. Who else was up there? The announcement.
You want to guess who's listed as a catcher on the website?
For what?
I didn't see this. Cole Carey's listed as a catcher.
Oh yeah, so, he's still got in his back pocket. We'll see how that. He won't catch. Jude will not catch more than 5 games this year, if at all. He didn't catch at all in Spokane.
Yeah, he'll be back in court.
Yeah, there's 0% chance. But you'll see Kyle Karras, Cole Carrig up there doing their thing. Jack Mahoney is also on the opening day roster for the Hartford Yard Goats. He opened last year in Fresno, and he's going to be up in Hartford this year. He has the stuff. We saw a little bit of his spring training. It was a little rough. But beyond those big names, another name, you think of a name that you want to shout out as we get going. I'm probably going to take it. But if you're up in Hartford, you are lucky enough that you get to see Braden Ward once again. Man, center field. If you got Braden Ward in center or left and Cole Carrig, that 1-2 punch, you're going to have incredible defense. And Benny Montgomery is no slouch. He is an incredible athlete still. So that outfield defense in Hartford is going to be fun. And the chaos is just going to ensue when Braden Ward's there. So I'm excited to see Braden Ward in Hartford.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see just how he blends into this lineup. GJ Hill, yeah. I know it's not the first name you're going to see on the lineup card and, want to see an at-bat of, but the end of last year was really strong for him in Spokane. And I was I don't know, did he get the call-up before the end of last year? He didn't. Because he was in Fresno, he didn't get the call-up to
I think he was in Hartford. I think he was in Hartford at the end. I think he was the playoff. He made the last week or so playoff push.
Gotcha. I don't think he got an at-bat. It's not his. Whatever. Anyways, but it's a guy that, kind of came out of nowhere last year and was a really good player for Spokane. And, I mean, I'm excited to see what he can do. He's going to be roaming that outfield, so there you go.
Yeah, he's going to – yeah. He was a late veteran minor league ad last year too.
Yeah.
Just something about those hills. I mean, Glenn Allen, he was an isotope for a little bit. I think he coached in the system for a while. So GJ Hill just doing what his dad did. But this rotation in Hartford is going to be nice. I wish I had it. I wish I had a better thing. Wish I was more prepared. I mean, you got Gabe Hughes, you got Jack Mahoney. Alec Barger is still in there. Got to imagine CVS is going to be Victor Juarez. He's going to get you some. There's, I don't know, the rotation last few years in Hartford has been fantastic, and I think they're just running that back here. There's not a lot of missteps from last year to this year. Got Sam Weatherly, who has a very solid chance of making the pros this year. He was fantastic in spring training, has all the stuff to be major league ready. He's an arm to watch. You got Mason Albright. There's a lot of good pitching again, which I think we're going to be saying a lot this year.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be fun this isn't I think last year we had we kind of went into the season, it was Hartford, they were known nationally. We were one of the top 3 stacked teams. And then now we kind of lost that. They're in Albuquerque now. There's a lot of hidden gems. If you want to point to a guy that you think could be a highly moving prospect that jumps up boards, anyone on this Hartford team could be one of those guys.
Yep, 100%. Connor Stain. I don't know how we missed him. Connor Stain and Blake Adams are there as well. Got to imagine Michael Prosecky will be there once he returns from the IL also. And yeah, did you see the USA goalkeeper, Matt Turner?
Yeah, Matt Turner's
on the squad.
It's weird that he got in baseball, but
yeah,
it's not going too well in the soccer. So
doing a Tim Tebow second act. That snuck up on all of us here at BSB. That was wild. And then the position players. I think the biggest shock for me is seeing Zach Kokoska on this squad again. I was saying off the air, but led the Eastern League in home runs, led the team in RBIs last year, did everything that he was supposed to as a power left-handed bat, and still is in Double-A. Feel like he should be in Triple-A. Feel like he should be there instead of Castanheira. But our first base depth is very weak. There's not a lot of it. Makes it tough. And so when you sign a Keston Hero, he's obviously going to be AAA. And then Zach Kokoska is just the guy that has to take the brunt of it, which is kind of a bummer. But I was a little disappointed to see Zach Kokoska on that list.
Yeah, it's odd. I know he's like a platoon guy, so it's always weird to get at bats. So as long as he gets at bats, I'm kind of fine with it. If it hits June, July, and he's not up there, I'm gonna really start pushing the envelope of, hey, this is kind of rude, guys. He deserves a spot. But
we'll do our thing.
Yeah, we did the thing with what's his name? The outfielder from Albuquerque to get the call up. Winton Bernard, yeah, we did that.
That was
single-handedly made the front office do it, so that was pretty fun. So we'll make them get the call up.
Yes, it'll be fun though. Hartford Yard Goats, they open their series, they open their season this weekend. They are playing at home on Friday night. I believe there's a magnet giveaway, fireworks show, all that kind of stuff there. And they're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of becoming the Yard Goats. I know this trivia, but I do not remember the trivia. So Mike Jr., get ready for the trivia. Do you remember, Mike Sr., what the Hartford Yard Goats name was before it became the Hartford Yard Goats?
It was the New Britain Rock Cats.
Boom! That is correct. Now that you said it out loud.
That's why I know it.
Yes, I knew that trivia. Yeah, terrible name. It's like I don't even know why it was a thing. Thank you for the rebrand. I believe it was up to fan votes, and the Yard Goats is a play on the trains. There's a big train stuff out there. The Yard Goat is the little train that moves all the big trains back and forth, I believe. So that's how
you sound like you know what you're talking about in the train sphere.
An engine that switches a train to get it ready for another locomotive to take over. Yes, I know. I read enough Thomas the Train Engine books to my kids to know what a Yard Goat is.
And there you go. I'll go ahead and shout out Matt Turner. We did just kind of, call him a goalkeeper, so I'll give him the little flowers here.
Hey, he gets saved. That's
somebody
play.
Yeah, that's true. When somebody pops up, especially in Double A that I've never heard of, it's like whoa, Matt Turner was that guy. Signed December. Weird left-handed delivery. Something the Rockies like is the left-handers that
love those funky
throw like the way you should. Like we love like Sean Sullivan, where it's like, why are you throwing a baseball like that? Kind of like that. The weird guys, the weirdos. That's what I'll call them from now on. The weird pitchers. We like those guys. So another arm barn guy. I like that. I like the depth. If they see something, I like them taking a shot.
Absolutely. No bad thing in arm barn depth. Spokane, set up to Spokane. They open their season on Friday as well. 3-game set against the Everett Aqua Sox. I think that's what it is. Fireworks, magnet show, all that good stuff as a home opener that you would expect. This one is a little fun. You have a pretty solid rotation. You have Pacheco, Prosecky, Vargas, Kopay, Madden. I know I just said Prosecky was on the AL last time. My bad. Michael Prosecky is number 2. Jordy, Vargas, Tyler's man doing there. And then you have Isaiah, spin it a lot, Kopay, 4th, and then Jake Madden. So, again, the talent here is insane. I think it was right on par with what we saw in Spokane last year as starting rotation goes. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, and I was a little caveat here. We don't really know who's going to be a starting pitcher because Madden and Kopay are both guys that we kind of expect to make the transition into a reliever role.
Yep.
And so we'll see. I think you confused Mahoney and Prosecky. So Mahoney, I think, will go up to Double A, which I confuse those two all the time. They're both just dogs out there. So there are a couple guys, though, on this team, especially on the pitching side. I really like Francis Rivera was a name that I've totally forgot existed. And he played like a couple games in single A a couple years ago. But he's back on the roster, 24 years old. What's your favorite bullpen guy here? I'm gonna let you answer this question first.
Well, it's Kate Ditton, easily.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. That I think he had a fantastic year last year, first pro season. His stuff is still getting strikeouts, still getting outs. He has experience being a closer, experience being a reliever. I think Kate Denton is my favorite arm barn on this team, with Wellington Herrera right behind him.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with Wellington.
No, the big horse. What is it? Caballo? Is that how you say horse in Spanish? I think it's Caballo.
Wrong guy to ask.
We're gonna start calling Wellington El Caballo because he loves his horses. That there. The position players, Braylon Wimmer moved up. See him playing shortstop and third base, probably more third base because you have Andy Perez and Gene Perez in the middle there with them. Skylar Messenger, he is there. Just a long shot, fun story. Skylar Messenger. Then Aiden Longwell. This might be the year. I should have said this name last week when we were picking our guys, but Aiden Longwell might be a guy that we need to keep an eye on. Great contact tool. There's some sneaky raw pop in his bat. He's a MAC guy. He's out of Kent State. There's something about the Midwest grinder that you can't be mad about. It's a little action. Aiden Longwell is going to have a good season in Spokane. I need you all to hear market right now. 35 minutes into this pod on March 31st. Aiden Longwell is a dude to watch out for. Who's your guy on Spokane specifically who you're going to be watching?
It feels like such an obvious pick. I'm gonna go Jared Thomas.
Yeah, that's an obvious pick.
Another young college guy. I'll give the Rockies something. We got a lot of young college guys early. Thomas is a guy that if he would have stayed in college, he probably could have worked his way into a top 15 pick. That's how talented this guy is. But he decided to go to the draft. And look, he might not be there for long. He raked in Fresno last year, 8 games, but still raked. Looked like he was a little above that talent level. He's going to Spokane here. I expect him just to straight up rake. And I think he's one of the most obvious everyday regulars we have in the system right now.
100% agree on that. The talent in Jared Thomas is just oozing out. Does he have a better season than Kyle Karros did last year? Assuming he spends all season in Spokane like last year, does he do better or worse?
I'm going to go better.
Match?
I'm going to go better. It's tough, though, because Karros is really good down the stretch. Really good down the stretch. And he also won the Gold Glove for the third base down there. So, yeah, it's tough. Although the fact that it's even, debatable shows how high we are on Jared Thomas.
100% agree. Our guy, EJ Andrews in Spokane. And then
get him out of there. Get him up in Hartford.
Yeah, hopefully there's some movement happening in the outfield across all the fields, and he's one of the ones that go up. Caleb Hobson is going to be fun to watch up there too. And then Big Moose, Cole Messina, catcher up in Spokane. I think we're good. I think that covers the Spokane. Again, that opens up Friday this week at home. All of our teams to play at home this week. All of the home openers for all the Colorado Rockies minor league teams are Friday. Or, well, technically Albuquerque's tomorrow, but all of them are opening up at home Friday, which is exciting. Let's move on down to the Cali League, Fresno Grizzlies. I'm going to need some help on this. I am not as well versed. This is where Tyler, I don't know why he took an off day today, but we'll get caught up next week. A lot of last year's draft picks are coming into play in the Fresno Grizzlies roster. A lot of the draft picks last year, remember, were pitchers. I think it was crazy, 13 or 14 of the 21 rounds were pitchers. Pretty sure that's right. Please check me, Mike Jr. And then a lot of the position players, you're going to see a lot of ACL, DCL type names coming into play in Fresno, which is kind of normal, but it's not kind of a nice mix here with this squad. But the big highlight of the name of this team of this year is our guy, Brody Brecht. He's going to be leading the charge. I do not imagine he spends more than 10 starts in Fresno before he's up in Spokane. Because what we saw in that prospect breakout game says you should not be at single A. But I'm sure it's first full season. We're going to ease you into it a little bit, but we're going to give you the Gabe Hughes treatment. We're going to kind of rush you through it, but not too rushed because we have some guys in front of you that can kind of hold the time. But Brody Brecht in California League, it's going to be lights out. It's going to be insane. It's going to be unfair. I feel bad for everybody else in that league.
I will say, I don't think people realize how, if we can fix Brody Brecht's command, which is a big problem, even in college, it was he walked like 4 batters a game. It was a huge problem. If we fix that, he's a top 5 prospect in baseball. He is lights out. He is Dollander-esque. He might probably better than Dollander on straight stuff.
Really close.
Like, if we can just fix that command issue, which I'm sure that's the downfall of a lot of pitchers, though. So the tough problem to fix. We fix that. We have diamond in the rough. I know second round, not really the rough, but second round we get like a top 5 prospect in baseball. So I'm excited to see how they attack. I'm the pitch count and stuff. I'm really excited to see when he gets taken out. But another guy you kind of skipped over. You said there's one other guy to this team. There's 2 horses here. We have Robert Callis here.
Yeah, I didn't skip over. I set that up for you.
There you go. Yeah, I mean another guy. They're kind of the same if you think about it. Where it's like if you can just refine these two, we have elite prospects. Callis has light tower power. He's got power that can. I mean, I don't know where. Like, I'm sure Fresno is close enough to the Pacific Ocean that he could hit it there. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that works, but we'll see. He's so good, and he was really good last year. I was worried about him making that jump to A-ball, but he looked perfect. He looked like he wasn't like the greatest player ever, but I was really worried he would sink his first like 40 games there, and he didn't. He was perfect. Hit a couple home runs. Even walked a little bit, I'm pretty sure. So if we can get him figured out, like the Callis' power, like Callis, Condon, Yank, like dude, we could really do some damage.
Yeah, as Mike Jr. points out, Callis' power is in the same conversation with Charlie Condon and Yankiel Fernandez. A lot of similarities. Hit tool is it's insane. It's insane. Brody Brecht similarities with Paul Skeens, and I was right. 13 out of 21 Rockies draft picks last year were pitchers. Not a complete idiot, but yeah, Robert Callis 957 OPS in the Cal League in 13 games last year. First taste of pro ball. I don't really count ACL as pro ball, and he just came out on fire as an 18-year-old, mind you, doing that thing. So hopefully he rushes through it. I know the front office loves it. Go listen to our conversation with Forbes. He made sure we talked about Robert Callis before we moved on. So he's big on Robert Callis.
He's so good, dude. He's so good.
There's just like, so you know, when you watch games and you go, okay, that guy is just a little bit better, a little bit more ahead than everybody else. And it's not fair to everybody else on the field. Robert Callis and Brody Brecht do that to the entire Cali League this year. Like, if you're going to watch anything, you're watching those two every time. And that's not to say like there's not other talent on this. Like, you got Felix Tana, who's arguably top 3, top 4 fastest guy in the system. Blake Wright, he's a third round, fourth round?
Tyler's guy right there.
That is Tyler's guy. He's there. Nolan Clifford is a grindy shortstop out of Creighton that you have to keep an eye out on for. And then, I
mean, we got some 04s and 05s on here from birthday wise, so it's making me a little sick, but some young cats.
Sick. Like, that's when I graduated high school. That's insane. Kelvin Hidalgo, 17-year-old out of the ACL, major talent up the middle. And then you have Lebarron Johnson, who's, we haven't decided. It might be a starter, it might be a reliever, but he's somebody that all 3 of us are excited about. Mike Jr. is stoked about him too. We can see our friend Luke Taggart come back. It's been 2 years since we've seen that man. I think we talked to him and then he went down, and I feel really bad because bad juju on our part. But we get to see him. He was a pitcher of the month candidate 1 year for Spokane. Tyler Hampu, you got Luke Jewett, Ismael Luciano, dog. Austin Becker, dog. Like, you have all these dudes. Jackson Cox is going to run it back in Fresno. High caliber talent guy. Like, you're going Cox Brecht 1-2 with Luciano in there as well. Like, that's good. It's going to be fun. California League is going to have some struggles against that Fresno rotation. Yeah,
I mean, I'm excited to see what Alan Espinal will bring to the table. Vanderbilt catcher. So hopefully he gets everyday at bats. I'm really high on him.
It'll be fun. I mean, it's minor league baseball, so it's automatically fun. But then you have all these talents at all these stops at different levels of their development. And the Rockies have been doing a pretty decent job, as contrary to popular belief, of building up some of the stuff in the low end part.
I'm running like a theory in my head here where it's like, I actually think the Rockies are not bad at developing position players. We just never get like anything, like we don't get rewarded for it. Like, we let them walk in free agency, like Trevor Story. We trade them for nothing. Nolan Arenado. And those are usually just the 2, right?
Yeah.
Or are we just running them? Like, if we were to trade like Arenado for like really good prospects, we'd be sitting here like, in a way better spot. Whatever. I don't think we're that bad at it. People love to just dig on us. There are worse teams developing wise. I think
I
development. Yeah.
I think I've said something very similar to that. Like you look at the lineup right now, it's just how they dealt with the development. Like we should have saw Michael Toglia like 2 years before he became Michael Toglia. I think is the biggest gripe.
Although I do think we're gonna start seeing we're gonna see with us and the Marlins and the White Sox. If you play enough young guys, you're just gonna run into some good players.
One of them has to become a star, and there are so many possibilities on this squad right now to become that star. Zach Veen.
It's crazy because last year we were talking about Hunter Goodman, Toglia wasn't even up there yet, and look at those two now. Those two are we expect bombs every night from those guys. So.
Yeah, 100%. And we were on the Hunter Goodman train first. Yeah. I wanted to be recognized.
You were big on Hunter Goodman. I'll give you that. You kind of brought me on the train. I don't know if I was too late, but
Yeah, you were. But it's fine. it's what makes it fun. You just see certain players and you just fall in love with them, and obviously my bias always shows out, but there's so much talent across this system. It might be top 20 in all of majors, but there's enough talent to make major league caliber players. So we're gonna have fun with that. We're gonna keep watching that. Obviously,
it's got a lot of. I would say our system has a lot of just every Jared Thomas will be an everyday player. Amador, I'm almost certain will be an everyday player. I'm guaranteeing that. Our pitchers, we have a lot of guys that like Sean Sullivan, probably be a good 3, 4, 5 for probably a good 1 for us if we're being honest. Looking at it. I'm not gonna talk too bad about our rotation right now, but they're doing pretty good. And we have Palmquist. We have a lot of guys that I think could be above average guys. So I do think our system does lack high end guys. Brody Brecht, though, we fixed that. Collis, people are low on Condon for some reason, even though he broke every record possible as a 20-year-old in college in the SEC. I don't know what we were doing. I can talk about it for days, though.
It is weird.
You have the high-end guys.
A lot of high-end guys, and it's just what do they do when they get older? Are we going to see Condon in the minors for 3 years? God, I hope not, because that's not what you do with a Charlie Condon type bat. So
he's got to perform, though.
So. Right, and he will. Trust that Charlie Condon will ball out this year.
I just don't see how Condon doesn't. This might end up really bad. I don't see how Condon doesn't at least end up one of those almost I don't want to say Josh Bell, but Josh Bell was you could just always that dude would hit,
Yeah.
That I think is the floor, which is kind of crazy. A Josh Bell style OPS hitter where it's he's gonna hit. There you go. He can hit.
Which you might be mad about because you spent your first round pick on
that's the floor, though. That's the floor. So I'm fine if that's the floor,
Right. Or
we've spent the third overall pick in worse ways before. So
that we have. All right. Anything else for the good of the cause?
No, I'm really excited for this week. Fun week for us.
I am too. I'm excited to have Hartford Yard Goats on my screen tomorrow night. It's going to be fun.
It's not tomorrow. It's Friday, but
it is Friday.
Sorry to break tomorrow.
Dang it, that's gonna be late night Friday. But Mike's always on the 1s and 2s clipping some games. I'm gonna start being able to clip some games. So our BSB Twitter account is the place to go to get all of that. We're trying to look at how to get on the Blue Sky a little bit quicker, the Instagram as well. Just all the apps, there are a lot. So the best bet is for you to follow us on the Twitter, Blake Street Banter. A lot of write-ups coming up. We have our guy Luke. We have somebody in the press box in the Isotopes lab, in the lab down in Albuquerque. Luke is going to be there once a series at home, getting player interviews, player talks. So look out for those articles, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun with that. I don't think anybody else is doing that in the Rockies socials. So go ahead and keep an eye on that. Luke is going to have fun with that. He's going to be really good at that. I love reading his write-ups and his work. A lot of good things happening here, right? And then you got K-Dub chiming in at the end. Ding, ding, ding. Make sure you join K-Dub and Skylar on Wednesday night with NL Best of the West. Gets released as a pod on Friday.
Dodgers just hit a home run, so there you go.
Who did?
Dodgers.
Oh, fuck the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're not going to lose. I'm sure K-Dub.
Do we see your torpedo bat in the minors?
Oh, I don't know, because that's a really specific bat. I kind of commented. I know I commented on some K-Dub. It's not a cheating bat. I hate when people are weird.
It's not a cheating bat.
That. It's not cheating, but it's a really specific player bat. If you need it. So, you know where you hit the ball.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe one or two.
Like Robert Calaz with a torpedo bat power might be a little good. Or all the guys in Spokane, since it's so hard to hit up there in April and May, like maybe a torpedo bat. I don't know. We'll see. But if you're a hater of the torpedo bat, you can go find a different podcast to listen to. Get ready to hit the button, Mike Jr. Go Rocks. Woo!
No outro.